Their freshman seasons, that was largely the appetizer in the summer months, the main course, as the class of 2028 continued a jockeying for position behind the phenom Dexter McLeon Jr. There's a new number two and a new number three for the third time in three rankings and two debut names within the top 10. It's enough to make your head spin, which is why here on Coffee and Curveballs, we've always got Shooter Hunt on our side. Shooter, in a class where everyone is looking up at a household name in McLeon, the dynamic two-way out of Georgia's Buford High, are things fluid for this group at this point, or is this a sign of things starting to solidify?
Without a doubt, I think it's fluid. We talk about Dex at the top, who's 6'3" runner up to 95. It's insane what he's able to do. But Striker Pence at number three, I watched. It was one of the more incredible feats I saw. Him out of area code throwing 100. I think his first 11 pitches were 100 miles an hour from the right side. Really good athlete, not fully developed. Like he's only going to get better. Grayson Bell, left-hander, frontline lefty, like the southpaws. You're looking for those guys because there's intrinsic value in the game with that right now. But beyond then, we haven't really talked about the shortstops yet. And there's a lot of shortstops alike in this group. And you know that those guys are going to continue to get better. So I don't think this will be settled just yet. And that's why we would love to watch them for the next 3 years.
So you just went through it. The new number two is Pennsylvania's Grayson Bell, who wasn't in the top 10 for the initial class rankings back in December. He set seventh in the June update. Now, as I mentioned, number two. And then you already mentioned Striker Pence there, the nephew of former All-Star Hunter, just an absolute flamethrower who is up to number three. How did these two end up making these climbs? And again, in a situation that's pretty fluid.
Well, I think when you look at the game and when we're putting together these rankings, obviously this class is going to continue to develop, especially this sophomore year leading up to the future games next summer, where we'll get to see so many of these guys and really open eyes and expand the rankings as we've done for the 27 class now. Grayson Bell, a frontline left-handed starter. What he has is such a solid foundation to look like a frontline guy and the ability over the next 3 years to continue to get better. I love the fact that he's really athletic. He can also swing it a little bit, but then he hops on the mound. It's 3 pitches for a strike, three potential above average to plus, even just as a young sophomore. So that's going to give him a chance to really elevate himself. And already the floor is set very high because of that left-handedness. And then Striker Pence, I have to say, I was talking to somebody recently about in my 10 years of prep baseball, like, who were the guys that just wowed you? Striker Pence's outing that I saw late in the summer, like that was the biggest wow moment I've ever had. It was just, and by wow, I just sat there silently with the rest of the scouting community. Like, is this really happening? Three above average pitches, especially with that fastball, which I think was 100, maybe 101. But he also likes to swing, and he's 6'4". The frame is there. He's going to continue to get stronger. What's so exciting about him is that he loves to play, and I think that that's going to help drive him to even greater heights. And it is some serious stuff. But that was the biggest wow moment. Those top three are outstanding and really could go in any order right now. But there's a lot more to come with this group.
Missouri's Keelan Zumwalt, a personal favorite after he gave me his Kansas City barbecue recommendation this summer, and Colin Anderson out of Georgia Power Etowah round out the top five, staying in that upper echelon for the third straight time. They're not alone, though, in returning for the top 10 as North Carolina's Ethan Stewart, Connecticut's Gavin Shakar, California's Theo Swafford, and Florida's Yariel Diaz are all back. Just one of those names, by the way, Swafford is a shortstop. And you go back over the last 4 years, the rankings have largely been dominated by that position. What's your read on this group from that point and the amount of two ways and the depth of positions within the top 10 that aren't shortstops?
I think you talk about the fact that there's a lot of two ways. So it's like, hey, there's a lot of athleticism, and let's just figure it out. These guys will become good at one of those. You talk about Zumwalt, who's Missouri kid, kind of similar to Xavier Nyans, a prep baseball All-American, went in the first round. Left-handed stick. I'm always betting on the position players, right? He's got a physical left-handed stick, but he also competes on the bump from the left side and is one of the best arms in the class as well. So he's got some good bloodlines, big league bloodlines, and he's only going to get better. But he expects success. The guy where he walks on the field and there's a confidence and everybody kind of gravitates towards him, which makes him gives him a chance to be super special. Another guy was at the super sophomore games, which were a huge driver for these rankings, where we're able to see a lot of these guys compete against each other. And then you talk about Colin Anderson, who well, was put on a show at Lake Point. Ian Smith, Hudson Graham, our guys down in Georgia just have flowery things to say about a guy who's at Etowah and able to start as a freshman for a top 10 team in the country. Maybe he's number one team to start the year next year. We'll see. crazy. But he's another twitchy guy. The barrel stays in the zone for forever. I always talk to Ian Smith. I say it's almost like Glenn Allen Hill. If you can think all the way back, that type of power where it's like, did he even swing that hard? How did that ball go 400 feet? Really good athlete. Ethan Stewart, who I think has a chance to be one of the top pure hitters in this class. Left-handed stick. I like it in kind of the way that Colt Emerson looked in the box in high school from the left side, low set hands, super flicky, can move the barrel around. He gets after it too, plays really hard. Shakar coming out of Connecticut. We've talked about in the past, just the polish up to 96 from the right side. It's just a chance to be really special coming out of New England. Not as many innings under his belt, which means he's going to have a chance to get even better as he gets more polish there. Theo Swaffer, Sierra Canyon. Again, the twitch from the left side that he has, the ability to stick at shortstop, it's really exciting. Every time he steps in the field, he makes something happen. Almost like a more physical version of Aiden Ruiz that we're seeing right now. And then Lito Diaz, who's lefty at TNXL, just churning out some lefties there. He's going to be behind Spencer Evans this year, have a chance to be a day one pick. But he just flooded the zone. He was great at the MPI for the Canes, and can swing it as well. So he floods the zone, does a lot of big time stuff there. And that's just the top 9. Like, we could go all day with the top 50.
One new name to the top 10, and it has me backtracking a little bit about the highly ranked shortstops in 2028. And that's the Robin to Dexter McLeon's Batman at Buford in shortstop Leo Garcia. I sat down with him at super sophomore games at Lake Point, and just an absolute wizard with the glove, smooth bat, and someone whose makeup just absolutely screams composure.
Yeah, but the guys down in Georgia have been banging on the door like this. Leo Garcia is a dude. He is the guy. He is the guy. And when we're going through the rankings and having tons of discussions about who are these top guys, Leo Garcia comes out. He's a 6'6" runner. He's got off the chart metrics all over the place. He's a guy you want the ball hit to in a big spot, and then he's a guy you want to come up in a big spot at the plate. So he's got all the makings of a big time guy. Plus, he's from the state of Georgia, which, as you know very well, Corey, they're just turning out prospects. So Leo Garcia is the guy to bet on. And Buford, I mean, come on. But next to that $80 million football stadium, they got some good baseball stuff going on there too.
Yeah, it's insane. Outside of the top 10, there were plenty of players who saw their stocks tick up big time over these summer months. You have a long list. We're going to handpick some blue chip stocks here, beginning with 3 arms out of the Northeast. Massachusetts left-hander Owen Burns, who's now 11th overall. New York righty Tommy Driver at 62nd, and Pennsylvania righty Owen Murphy at 78th. The 2 Owens are up to the 90s with a fastball. Driver right there, along with a ton of spin.
Yeah, I mean, Owen Burns, it's no surprise when we're looking at this list. Who are the lefties? Let's find these frontline guys. Owen Burns is about as polished as you'll see coming out of New England. I mean, it's a 4-pitch mix. He understands what his fastballs are doing. Curveball slider can separate and differentiate with feel for a changeup. It's got to be rare to see up there in New England in the high school level, especially for just a guy who hasn't even played his sophomore season yet. But it was really good throughout the summer and kept getting better. Really like the direction. He's 6'3", 200, good frame to bet on. You go down to a Driver who's come from Ballston Spa, which right outside the Saratoga area. Shout out to Skidmore. But a really big frame kid who's coming out of a low slot. But he's got a feel for a full arsenal. He's just a must follow at 6'5", 170, going to continue to fill out. And then you head to Owen Murphy, who's kind of a little bit different than Driver. He's the prototypical PA guy where he's 6'5", 200, big physical, bullying fastball. It's some big time stuff. You'd think that Trey Savage, who just made his big league debut out of ECU in a single year, but a kid from PA who shined at the future games. That's what you get out of Pennsylvania. Big physical arms. They're moving well. They're going to pop late. So find a host of them, circle those names, and make sure you're following.
2 position players, both with notable names, making names for themselves. Florida shortstop Alex Rodriguez, not that guy, is now 29th, and Michigan outfielder Flip Waters, brother of Notre Dame infielder Bino, who can absolutely fly at 6'6", in the 60s, now up to 34th.
Yeah, bet on those guys who can hit. And Alex Rodriguez, switch hitter, can play shortstop, had a really nice varsity year last year as a freshman at Plant City, which will have Jake Carball at day one, potential guy on the bump this year. The guy can just hit those swing decisions. I love the trajectory that his path is currently on because his bat to ball is there. He's got a little bit of power now. You know more is going to come. He's in Florida. Is it right outside of Tampa there, Plant City. Love the upside of that bat. And then you talk about Flip Waters. brother, Bino Waters, who was a Super 60 guy for us out of the state of Michigan, went to Notre Dame. Now he's starting to look like probably a likely top 30 first rounder coming out of there with his swing decisions. Flip's probably better, more athletic, 6'6" runner, 6'1", 180. He's going to get stronger because I think Bino broke our metrics in the forearm testing back at the Super 60 in the day. So Flip Waters has a chance to really develop into one of those impact guys coming out of Michigan, which we just routinely see at this point.
It's two-way central on this stock watch list. Utah's Jeremiah Hall, California product, Jackson Janeski, Texas's Cullen Scott, Oklahoma's Bradley Hastings, just tooled up every single one of them. Hall's up to 12th, Janeski 20th, Scott 22nd, and Hastings 86th. There's a lot to love here. Hall boasts a 6'6", 60. Janeski proved himself for power, Jay Sarah. Scott has exit velos north of 103, and Hastings, I mean, this guy pretty much does it all.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Hall coming out of Utah, he's 6'2", 200, already physical, but runs a 6'6". He can really play the field. Oh, yeah, he's also one of the more polished right-handed arms up to 92 with really good secondary stuff. Some point, you just got to say, like, let's bet on this kid. He's really good, and he's going to be exciting to watch. He's another guy who loves to play, gets out there, does his thing against the top guys in the country. Janeski, who since the initial setting of this 2028 rankings was a guy, hey, this guy's going to be the one to bet on. Just works right. The frame's there. He's athletic. There's aptitude. He's aggressive, moves down the mound well, but also plays shortstop. We're not sure what he's better at yet. There's no need to push him in either direction. Go out there and compete, which is what Jay Sarah guys do under Brett Kay at all times. He's got that upside. And they talk about Hastings, who coming out of Oklahoma, which just seems to churn out first rounders. He was a guy that I circled going through the list. Like, who is this Bradley Hastings guy? I really want to get a chance to go out to Oklahoma because he can hit, he can pitch, he can do a lot of different things to help a team win. But he's also got the frame to bet on and that athleticism. So those are three guys that I'm excited about in a group of what seems like a lot of two-way guys right now.
Yeah, one more. Texas is Cullen Scott, who I mentioned in the intro there, just putting up some huge numbers as well.
Oh, I mean, Colin Scott, what else are you going to talk about in Texas? Big power arm up to 95. It's still polishing, but he can also swing it too. He's 6'3", 200, young for the class. He's a guy I think that has tons of upside. Talk with Max Semler down in Texas, who was a 30-year big league scout who's now working with us, saying, Colin Scott, that's the guy. That's the guy in a group of Texas arms that look really good, even from a young age. You know me, right-handers, we'll let them sift up, but Texas has a ton of really good right-handers, and I think Colin Scott has a chance to be a really good two-way.
Some choice names from your names to know. I want to start with two position players, beginning with a guy who has been making some noise for a while at Cartersville, playing in Lake Point's backyard, and shortstop David Vargas, who's now 119, and New Jersey outfielder Connor Bressler, now at 173.
Yeah, I think Vargas, when we're going through the list with Ian and Hudson down in Georgia, who are let's find some shortstops in Georgia because you know they're going to be there in the end, right? There's going to be guys all over the place. Those shortstops are going to come. Those Daniel Pierces, they're going to rise to the top at some point. But Vargas, really twitchy. He's in the backyard at Lake Point there at Cartersville, can swing it, silky smooth actions. When you look at it from a distance and from the national scope, hey, this guy's really good. We got to get this guy in the mix because he's got a chance to make those jumps. He's a really good program there at Cartersville. He's going to be at Lake Point plenty. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to bring to the table the next 3 years.
And then New Jersey outfitter Connor Bressler went at 173.
Wrestler at Del Barton, which has a really good young core. I think Del Barton, you may see them in the national rankings the next few years because they got a really good group of 27s, now at 28s. But Connor Bressler, really good athlete, right? He gets after in the field, looks like he wants to play hard at all times. You know, Del Barton guys are going to play the game the right way. So you know the coaching is going to allow him to continue to get better each year. I'm excited to see him. Probably going to have to book another Jersey trip next year. If not Philly, I may get a little Philly and Jersey action.
Three arms to cap it off. Indiana lefty Ty Pole sitting 126. Virginia righty Tyler Howard at 209. And fellow righty Holden Wilcox out of Ohio at 281. What made these guys stand out in a deep, deep collection of pitchers?
Well, I think Pull at the top, he throws left-handed. So that's always a plus. But he's at 6'3", 190 with a very, very easy delivery. Everything repeats with ease. He throws tons of strikes. The fastball is already creeping up into the upper 80s. There's more to come, but he can move it around. Feel for strikes with potential plus changeup along with a breaking ball he's dropping in. he's just on a nice trajectory. And Indiana arms, that's what they do: jump shots, power arms. So he's going to have a chance to jump. And then the other two, like the movement patterns of a guy like a guy like Tyler Howard, who's one of the youngest kids in the class. He'll be under 18 at draft day, coming out of that DMV area, Virginia, in this point. But the arm really works. Going to make those jumps. He's going to get stronger over time. Really like the direction that he's headed in. Holden Wilcox, Delvin Jerome, coming out of Ohio, another guy. It's a silky smooth mover. There's some dynamic aspects to the way that the arm works and the movement patterns, but I think he has a chance to really make some jumps over the next few years as long as he stays on this trajectory and gets after in the offseason.
Well, the most defining year for these players awaits as their sophomore seasons will be followed by a travel campaign that will include, for many, the future games, commitments to follow. Sheer, I can't wait. So many of these guys have been household names for a while now. Excited to see whose 2026s include time down here in Georgia. Of course, we'll have you covered every step of the way here on Coffee and Curveballs, so don't go anywhere. Until next time, that's Shooter Hunt. I'm Corey McCartney, and we'll see you at the Diamond.